So now that I've kind of explained to you what Magic Zap does and how it can work and help your business, I really just want to explain to you a little bit of basics of the internet and HTTP protocol, okay? So I'm not sure how technical you guys are and how much you actually know about HTTP protocol and the internet and how data is processed over the World Wide Web. But I'm going to go in and give you kind of a crash course on the internet and how it actually works, okay? So the first thing I want you guys to actually understand is what is a URL, okay? So here, right up here, you can see a URL, https magiczap.com, all right? So in this URL, you've got a few different things here, all right? If you look right here, you've got a Magic Zap. This is called a root. And then you've got this .com, which is called a TLD, a top level domain. And then sometimes you guys will notice that you have something called a subdomain like www. Okay, so those are essentially the main parts of a domain. And then there's one more part, which is the protocol. Here you can see we have HTTPS protocol, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. All right, and this is just the actual protocol that information is passed over the internet. So this is really important for you to actually understand that this is a URL. It's also called a fully qualified domain name, okay? So now that you actually understand what a fully qualified domain is, I want you to understand a couple other things, okay? Every place that you go on the internet lives at a URL. Okay, for example, we're at Magic Zap right now, and it is living on a URL. All right, we could go to another web page. Let's say this web page right here. We've got another URL. All right, so I'm going to go to everybody's favorite web page right here, which is Facebook. It seems like is everybody's favorite web page. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down my Facebook page for a little bit, and I'm going to find a good old advertisement. Let's see if Facebook will show me some type of advertisement here. Look, here we go. Here's an advertisement right here. Great. I've clicked on this ad. So why am I clicking on this stupid ad? Because I want you to understand a little bit more information. I want you to look right up here. All right. So now if you're looking right up here, you can see again, we have a URL. All right. We have the protocol in which the information is going to be passed. This one happens to be a secure protocol. We have the root domain, which ends up being sales process. We have our TLD, our top level domain, which ends up being IO. We have what's called a route here. This is quiz, all right? That route you can think of as an actual web page, or I like to call them addresses, all right? So now you can see all these different parts of a URL. And maybe this is confusing to you and you're like, well, why do I care about any of this? Because this is essentially how Magic Zap works, which is why I want you to understand this, all right? Now, if you look at the end of this route, this quiz route, you can see there is a question mark right here. And if you look after this question mark, what you're going to see, these things here are called URL parameters, okay? So URL parameters is essentially exactly how Magic Zap works. It works based off of URL parameters. And what URL parameters allow you to do is they allow you to pass data to a website about the piece of traffic that is viewing that website. So to give you an example of this, I see several key value pairs. And that's what you need to know about URL parameters, is they are essentially key value pairs, which means that they have a key which identifies, you know, what it just is a name of what that data is going to be. And you can see that you can have multiple of them. Here I have one key called UTM source, and I have a value called Facebook. You can see I have another key value pair here called UTM medium. And there's UTM medium, and it has a value of, this is probably going to be the ad ID coming from Facebook. I have another key value pair here. This is called UTM campaign, and it's telling me that the value is cold traffic sandbox. And I can see I have another key value pair. This is called UTM content. And I can see that the value is case study video to quiz copy. All right. I can see another very, very important. This is like the most important one right here from Facebook side. This is called the FBCLID, which means it's the Facebook click ID. And this is essentially how the Facebook pixel works right here. So if you're into marketing, which you guys probably are, you guys probably love marketing. I don't, but you probably do. If you look, I can see that here I've got a pixel, I've got a Facebook pixel installed on here so that these people can actually retarget me once I go to their website. They can follow me all around the internet and show me more and more advertisements because they think I'm interested in their stuff because I went to their website. Well, how is Facebook actually able to do that? How can Facebook know that I visited this website and, you know, I actually landed on this website? Well, it does that in a process of 2 ways, almost very similar to what Magic's app does. Facebook gives you a tracking pixel, which I can see that these people have actually installed on their website because they're probably good at marketing. So Facebook gives you this tracking pixel. And then the other thing Facebook does is they send a URL parameter, specifically this URL parameter right here that I'm highlighting here. They send this URL parameter, which identifies me specifically as a user, so that now if you run a retargeting ad, they can actually target me because I am a little visitor on their website. So how does Facebook know I'm viewing this website right now? Because they have this tracking pixel, and what this tracking pixel is listening for is it's literally listening for this Facebook click ID, because this Facebook click ID is what actually identifies me as a Facebook user, so that Facebook can know, hey, John Vaughn is actually on this website right now, so he's interacting with my pixel, so I can retarget him. All right, so hopefully you guys can actually understand what I really want you to take away from this, all right, is websites. I like to look at the internet kind of like a street, okay? So the internet's kind of like a street, and you know, there's lots of different streets in the world, right? And the website, you know, the internet is like an interconnection of all the streets and stuff in the world. Well, web pages themselves, not the internet, but websites themselves, domains, we talked about this domain, all right? This domain, I like to think of it as a house, okay? And then if you look at this route, which is actually the web page itself, well, that kind of tells you where inside a house, all right? So if you look at this part that we have so far, which is the root domain, the top level domain, and the route, all this is doing is essentially identifying a specific place on the internet, specifically one specific web page. And what these URL parameters are doing is these URL parameters essentially allow you to know some information about a little piece of traffic that comes to your house and goes into your room, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you now, where you kind of understand what a URL parameter is. It's a key value pair, and what it specifically does is it allows you to send data to your web page so that you can have some data. I gave you a good example of that where when I showed you that Facebook click ID, and I kind of made you understand that that is exactly how Facebook can identify that you are on a website so that you can run a retargeting ad to somebody, is by passing these URL parameters, by passing data to your website. Facebook is able to actually identify, okay, John Vaughn's on this website, he visited this website, so if you want to run a retargeting ad to anybody who's visited your website, we need to show ads to John Vaughn. They're able to know that John Vaughn is on this website and has viewed this website because of this URL parameter that I've showed you right up here, which is this Facebook click ID. All right, so hopefully now you guys kind of understand a little bit of the background of URL parameters, because that is essentially how Magic Zap works. It works with URL parameters, okay? So if you're still a little bit confused about URL parameters and you're thinking, you know, hey, this is, you know, I'm just a marketer, I'm not a software engineer, I don't understand any of this stuff, you know, no big deal. I also don't understand marketing, so don't feel bad there. I will tell you that if you just keep going along and you go through the rest of these videos and the rest of this training, you will understand a lot more about URL parameters, and you'll understand exactly how Magic's app leverages them and how you can actually use them to begin to do some really cool advanced stuff in your marketing. So just don't give up and continue on, okay?